in November of 1969, just 4 months after the historic Apollo 11 mission landed people for the first time on the moon. The entire world watched as the Apollo 12 spacecraft lifted off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, on its journey to the lunar surface. What followed was a mission that was just as remarkable, but far less well-known than its predecessor. Lightning struck the spacecraft mere seconds after liftoff, making for an unexpected and unexpectedly dramatic turn in the mission that was known as Apollo 12, which was shrouded in secrecy and intrigue. The expedition endured a number of additional difficulties, but in the end, it was successful in accomplishing its objectives and writing a new chapter in human history. However, the story of Apollo 12 didn't end when the spacecraft returned to Earth after its mission. In point of fact, the journey of the mission had just begun, and over the course of the subsequent 30 years, it would take some unexpected turns that would further cement its position in history. In many respects, the Apollo 12 mission stood out as an anomaly in space exploration. It was the first mission to land on the moon in a specific location, and it was also the first mission to transport a color television camera to the surface of the moon. However, the crew itself was perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the ship. Commander Charles Pete Conrad was already a veteran of the Gemini program, and he carried with him an irreverent sense of humor and a knack for improvisation that would prove to be essential during the mission's most challenging moments. Both of these qualities were essential to the success of the mission. Alan Bean, the pilot of the lunar module, was an accomplished artist as well as a former test pilot for the Navy. On the other hand, Richard Gordon, the pilot of the command module, was an experienced astronaut who had flown on the Gemini 11 mission. Despite coming from a variety of different places, the crew of Apollo 12 came together very quickly and formed a strong bond, which would later be put to the test by the unforeseen difficulties that arose during the journey. Lightning impacted the spacecraft just 36 seconds after liftoff, which resulted in a momentary loss of power, and momentarily disabled the spacecraft's guidance systems. However, these issues were quickly resolved. However, because of the quick thinking of both the crew and the people in operation control, the systems were repaired, and the operation was able to continue as planned. After only 4 days, the crew was able to successfully land on the moon. They selected the Oceanus Procellarum region as their landing spot because of the significant scientific research that had been done there. Conrad and Bean went on 2 separate moonwalks during which they collected samples, set up experiments, and deployed a nuclear-powered ALSEP, Apollo Lunar Surface Experiment Package, that would continue to transmit data back to Earth for a number of years into the future. However, there were some obstacles to overcome during the course of the endeavor. Bean made the mistake of pointing the color TV camera directly at the sun while he was on one of the moonwalks, which resulted in the camera becoming momentarily damaged. Conrad was forced to physically override the system in order to make a successful landing after the engine of the lunar module suddenly shut off while they were ascending back to the command module. In spite of these obstacles, the team of Apollo 12 was able to make it back to Earth without incident, and the mission was considered a success. But the Apollo 12 crew still had a long way to go on their mission. In the subsequent 3 decades, the artifacts and equipment from the expedition would play a significant role in a number of unexpected occurrences that would take place. A fire broke out in the Lunar Receiving Laboratory at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas in 1971, just 2 years after the mission had been completed. Several artifacts from the Apollo program, including some from Apollo 12, were destroyed in the fire that was sparked by a faulty fan. Then, in the 1990s, a number of artifacts from the mission were stolen from the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. Among the things that were taken was Conrad's spacesuit, as well as the camera that Bean had accidentally pointed at the sun. In the end, the items were located, but this occurrence brought to light the ongoing fascination and interest in the Apollo program. The journey of Apollo 12 took an unexpected turn in 2006, when a group of researchers, headed by planetary scientist David Kring, made a startling discovery. This turn may have been the most surprising part of the journey. Kring and his crew made the discovery using data from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. They found indications of a large impact crater close to the location where Apollo 12 touched down. The revelation came as a complete shock for a variety of reasons. To begin, the crater was significantly bigger than anyone had anticipated. It had a diameter of more than 1,300 feet and was nearly 200 feet deep. Second, the crater is considered to have been developed not too long ago, geologically speaking, which suggests that it was produced sometime within the past 100 million years or so. The reality that the crater most likely formed only a few million years before the Apollo 12 mission is, however, one of the most intriguing aspects of the discovery. This indicates that the astronauts had actually landed on the edge of a relatively juvenile impact crater, which was one that had not yet been identified. The finding of the impact crater has sparked a great deal of interest among professional astronomers and amateur stargazers alike, in addition to posing a number of questions. For one thing, it offers a once-in-a-lifetime chance to investigate the impact processes that take place on the Moon, as well as the consequences that these kinds of impacts have on the surface of the Moon over the long term. In addition to this, it emphasizes the continuing significance of the Apollo mission and the legacy it has left. In spite of the fact that they have been completed for more than half a century, the Apollo missions continue to yield fresh understandings and discoveries, and they motivate a fresh crop of researchers and adventurers. In addition to its importance to science, the mission of Apollo 12 is also important because it serves as a timely reflection of the difficulties and perils that are inherently associated with space exploration. The lightning strike that damaged the spacecraft just moments after liftoff had the potential to be catastrophic, and the unexpected challenges faced by the crew on the lunar surface demonstrate the necessity of having resilience, creativity, and quick thinking in the face of adversity. But when it's all said and done, the journey that Apollo 12 took is a testament to the human spirit of discovery and exploration. It serves as a reminder that even in the face of obstacles that appear to be insurmountable, we are still capable of accomplishing great deeds of bravery, ingenuity, and determination. In conclusion, the mysterious 30-year journey of Apollo 12 is a story that Apollo 12 was a mission that followed the historic Apollo 11 mission and was equally extraordinary, but less well known. This story is based on the fact that Apollo 12 was a mission that occurred 30 years after the Apollo 11 mission. The mission was groundbreaking in many respects, including the fact that it was the first one to land on the Moon in a predetermined position, and the first one to bring a color television camera to the surface of the Moon. In spite of unanticipated challenges, such as a lightning strike just seconds after liftoff and equipment malfunctions during the mission, the crew of Apollo 12 successfully returned to Earth without incident, and the mission was praised as a success. In the subsequent 3 decades, the artifacts and equipment associated with the mission would be the center of a number of unexpected occurrences, such as a fire and a theft. The most unexpected turn in Apollo 12's journey occurred in 2006, when evidence of a large impact crater close to the landing site was discovered. This discovery took everyone by surprise. This discovery sheds light on the continuing significance of the Apollo program and the impact it has left behind. The Apollo program continues to pave the way for new discoveries and insights, and to inspire new generations of scientists and explorers. Overall, the journey that Apollo 12 took is a testament to the human spirit of exploration and discovery. It demonstrates our capacity to triumph over obstacles and accomplish great deeds of bravery, ingenuity, and determination. Leave your thoughts about the missions of Apollo 12 in the comments section below. And make sure to subscribe to our channel and be the first to know when we post new content.